Welcome to Insiders. The biggest news of the week is the arrival of 11 big canoes in Port Jackson. What do you reckon about that, Steve?
If we let these people in, we're going to have to let everyone else in. And we just don't have the resources or the infrastructure.
Well, I say these people need our help. I think the more the better. They'll bring more skills and a better diversity.
I say, fuck off, we're full.
Ooh.
Tonight on The Beast, why Google is evil. We get away to Australia's best-kept secret and meet Big Dog, a terrifying new face and legs of war. It's the World Remix tonight on Hungry Beast. But first, let's party like it's 19 minutes past 9.
Tomorrow sees the launch of Windows 7, and you know what that means. It's going to be party time.
Really?
Yeah.
Installing a new operating system doesn't seem a thing to party about.
Clearly, Lewis, you have not seen the Windows launch party instructional videos on YouTube, which are going to change the face of partying forever.
The four of us, along with hosts worldwide and you, are launching Windows 7 Ultimate software.
In a lot of ways, you're just throwing a party with Windows 7 as an honored guest. Sounds easy, and it is.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the first thing you want to do is install Windows 7. Right? Yeah, make sure you do that a couple days in advance of the party.
Wow. Imagine partying with these guys.
They're so friendly, ethnically diverse and inoffensive, it offends me.
Of course they're friendly, Lewis. They're such good friends. Just look at how they rib each other.
Now, after my overview, I went straight to an activity.
Oh, you went straight to the activity. Oh, well, I let everybody fool around with Snap for a little while.
Me too, I did the same.
Yeah. We each did an activity or two.
I did 3 activities.
Oh.
Yeah?
Oh, excuse me.
That's
Check them
great.
out.
Each one of these party animals held their own celebrations with activities too.
You'll need a pen handy to write down some of these party starters. The MILF cranks it up by showing people how to change their desktop background. The nerd got his people to burn CDs. Over at the G-MILF's retirement village, there is an epic all-day MS Paint session going down. And the black dude just plays it cool with Windows Search.
Why don't you each try Windows Search? In fact, I've created a super secret special document for each of you. So why not try typing in your first name into the Windows Search and see if it works?
Now, if you think sitting around searching for files isn't fun, you should have come to our Windows 7 party last night.
Found it.
We just followed the party host notes, which they insist you download from their website, line by line. There's lots of good stuff in here, true or false. Microsoft was started in New Mexico.
I don't care.
Yeah. Well, at least the MILF is taking it seriously.
I showed my guests things from 2 of the Windows 7 orientation videos, and it took like 10 minutes.
Right.
Oh, you know it was great? It was totally informal.
What? Right, because nothing says informal conversation like an auto cue. Seen here in the reflection of her laptop.
Hey, don't be so cynical, Lewis. Of course it's informal. Just look at all of this genuine laughter.
That's great.
I guess it's true what they say, Dan. There ain't no party like a Windows party. Hey, ho!
I wonder what would be the most appropriate way to sum up the genius of this marketing idea.
Can you believe that Microsoft put the launch of Windows 7 in our hands? Are they nuts or what?
Yes.
Stuff said this week. If we are serious about saving live music in this city, promoters and venue owners need only do one thing: get hotter chicks to gigs. Sam DeBrito, Sun Herald, October 18th, 2009.
Harmony Gold Mining Company Limited regretfully announces one of its employees at its Bambanani mine was fatally injured as a result of a localised fall of ground gravity incident. Statement issued by the gold mining company explaining that a worker was crushed to death by falling rocks. East Coast Radio, Durban, South Africa, October 15th, 2009.
Prostate cancer has finally lost its long battle with Fred Kress. We now know the cancer is dead, but the spirit of Fred Kress lives on. Kimpton Kress announcing the death of his father. Sydney Morning Herald, October 15th, 2009.
I was on my way to work one morning and I looked up at the news feed on the side of a building, and there were the words in giant glowing red letters: Predator drone kills 40 in Pakistan. And I felt for a moment like I was in Terminator. And I thought, my God, this is real. Right now, this second, there are at least 35 Predator drones in the skies over Iraq and Afghanistan. In America, living insects are being combined with machines for military use. And around the world, robot prototypes exist that are mobile, armed, and operate without human control.
What we're experiencing right now is a robots revolution. We're living through the end of humankind's 5,000-year-old monopoly on the fighting of war.
This is not a movie. This is happening here, now. We interviewed Peter Singer, author of Wired for War, former defence policy advisor to Barack Obama.
Robots are playing a much greater role in war today than I think many people know about. U.S. military forces went into Iraq with a handful of drones, pilotless planes, UAVs. We now have over 7,000 in the U.S. military inventory. We have things like the Global Hawk, it's a plane that can take off on its own, land on its own, carry its mission out on its own.
Today, the military in several nations are working on concepts for completely autonomous strike fighters. There are even plans for mothership drones that can stay in the air for months or even years. Most of these aircraft are operated worldwide via satellite from US Air Force caravans in Las Vegas, Nevada. The total number of those killed by them, enemy or otherwise, is unknown. We are seeing a fundamental shift in the way we fight wars.
To go to war for the last 5,000 years has really meant the same essential thing. At its most basic level, meant to go to a place of such danger you might never come home again, until today. And I remember meeting with a Predator pilot, and he talks about his experience of fighting insurgents in Iraq while never leaving Nevada. And he says, you are going to war for 12 hours. You're putting missiles on targets, you're killing enemy combatants. And then you get back in the car, and within 20 minutes, you're sitting at the dinner table talking to your kids about their homework.
And the robot revolution is not confined to the skies. Robot vehicles exist that can drive completely autonomously. This is the Terramax.
And with vehicles like the Terramax, they've been able to drive on their own through very complex terrain. But also, they had to follow the equivalent of traffic laws, even though there was no human inside of them. And so the point here is that we're seeing their sophistication and their autonomy grow with each new generation.
And this is Big Dog, a robot that maintains its balance even when under attack.
Big Dog is a robot made by a company called Boston Dynamics that is designed to replace the pack mule. And it's got some pretty amazing capabilities. It has legs that continually orient themselves to the ground.
Other robots can power themselves, like EATR, E-A-T-R.
The robot would be able to go around, scavenge up things on its own, to burn, which would then power itself. I remember talking with one of the scientists who was one of the developers of this concept, and he said, yeah, it'll be able to scavenge anything you might find on a battlefield. Things like broken up trees, broken furniture, dead bodies, stuff like that. The point is here, anything that can burn, that's a really wide definition.
And the robot revolution goes further. Next week, we look at developments in artificial intelligence, military cyborgs that already exist, and robotic prototypes that are being weaponized.
A robot looks at an 80-year-old grandmother in her wheelchair the exact same way it looks at a T-80 tank. They're both just zeros and ones in the programming language.
The future of war, happening now. Part 2 of Robot Wars next week on Hungry Beast.
Every third bite of food we consume depends on pollination by bees. Australia, China, Brazil, Britain and the US have all reported huge, unexplained bee losses in recent years. New Internationalist. 43% of Australians admit they write text messages to look busy. The week. The features of a new luxury Russian car include white, gold, diamond and ruby encrusted badges, gold-plated bulletproof windows, 22-inch Kremlin Red Star bulletproof wheels, Kevlar coating and whale penis leather interior. The Age.
Australia's a big place, and it seems every second week someone else gets lost in it. Who could forget British backpacker Jamie Nehl, who survived 12 days of being lost in the Blue Mountains earlier this year? Today he announced he'd be returning to Australia and bringing his GPS with him. But why do humans get lost? We sent intrepid explorers Marc Fennell and Lewis Hobba to investigate.
Hi, I'm Marc Fennell.
And I'm Lewis Hobba.
War.
Walking upright.
Linguistics.
Mastery of fire.
Opposable thumbs and finishing
each other's sentences. These are just a few of the things that make us
uniquely human.
But now there's another, more embarrassing addition to that list. Getting lost.
Yes, believe it or not, us humans are one of the very few animals to actually get lost. See, we don't have an internal monitor of space. What we do is we navigate via landmarks. So I know if there's a cross street there, a church up there, cars hurtling towards me in that direction, I am on a roundabout.
Animals, on the other hand, always find their way home. Milo and Otis did it. Bambi did it. Pity about his mum. But shit, even E.T. did it. And he didn't even have proper legs. So what are these magical abilities animals have that we don't?
For starters, magnets. Turns out there are lots of animals that have their own internal sense of the Earth's magnetic field. For example, bats, thanks to a substance known as magnetite.
Or there's ants, which, according to science, could find their way home blindfolded using an internal pedometer, which is ridiculous. No scientist can make a blindfold that small.
But salmon have the triple threat. Now, not only do they have the amazing fridge magnetron skills, trademark, they can also navigate via smell and by sensing changing hydrodynamics.
But here's a curly one. How about stray dogs?
Yeah, if dogs are supposed to be so navigationally awesome, how can we have lost dogs' homes?
Hey.
Dog!
I am not lost. I am wherever I want to be. Lost is a human construct. Don't judge, homie.
Lewis?
The worst part is that we have neurons dedicated to our sense of direction. We didn't always need Google Maps to find our sat-nav just to locate lentils in a supermarket. For generations, the Arctic Inuit navigated through featureless white landscapes just fine. Up until recently, they didn't even have a word for lost.
But why? Did we lose this ability in evolution somewhere? Well, look, that is one option. But there's another theory, that we traded these skills for something much better. An ability to read metaspace!
Metaspace.
There's a bloke named Colin Ellard who's developed a theory that humans can generate their own reality, an imagined, non-physical reality, basically the internet. Which is why you don't see a lot of salmon on Facebook. Ha!
Suck on that.
We're very lost, aren't we?
Shut up.
$35 million, the amount paid by a Canadian billionaire to be the first clown to go into orbit. $58,000, the amount of money offered to Van Puck Nguyen by the government for his 3-year wrongful detention at Villawood. $2.6 million, the amount Cornelia Rao was given for 10 months illegal detention. $1.3 million, amount the US Defence Forces spent to sponsor the launch of the hit Xbox game Halo 3. At the event in New Hampshire, an Air Force recruiter explained, "Our target market is identical to that of video game stores."
Last night, Kevin Rudd struck a deal with President Yudhoyono for Indonesia to let 78 Sri Lankan asylum seekers who are currently on board the Australian customs ship Oceanic Viking into his country. But Indonesia says the deal is only temporary. This is the latest instalment in a week that's seen every major news outlet in the country giving massive coverage to the influx of refugees and asylum seekers. Now, the emotions surrounding people arriving here by boat are always pretty heated. But what are the facts? Well, here now your handy guide to refugees, asylum seekers and Australia. A refugee is someone forced to flee their homeland because of persecution. They've met the UN criteria for being a refugee and have virtually the same rights as the rest of us, other than the right to vote. Every year, Australia resettles 13,500 refugees through our humanitarian visa program. There are 10.5 million refugees in the world right now, and on average, people wait in refugee camps for about 17 years before finding a new home. This is what is often referred to as the queue. Globally, nearly 90,000 refugees were resettled just last year. Of those, Australia took 11,000. Our Department of Immigration says that makes us the second highest resettler of refugees per head of the population in the world, second only to the US. However, in terms of recognising asylum seekers as refugees, Australia ranks 39th in the world, according to the UNHCR.
An asylum seeker is also someone forced to flee their homeland because of persecution. Unlike refugees, many will not have had access to UN processing centres before coming to Australia. In other words, there is no queue for them to join. Australia is a signatory to the UN Refugee Convention, meaning under international law, it's illegal for us to refuse anyone seeking asylum. 4 out of every 5 asylum seekers who come to Australia by boat are found to be genuine refugees and told they can stay. Last year, there were 827,000 asylum seekers throughout the world. 4,775 of those sought asylum here. Of those, the vast majority came by plane. 161 came by boat, less than 5% of all arrivals.
Those figures were all taken from the most recent and complete data, which was released back in 2008. The Department of Immigration is due to table the latest statistics in the next few weeks. We called the department and they told us that so far this year, 1,745 people have been held for processing after arriving here by boat to seek asylum. To find out firsthand what the refugee experience is like in suburban Australia, we visited the Brisbane suburb of Moorooka. And you can see that story on our website, abc.net.au/hungrybeast.
Secluded, secure, the perfect place to lock away the cares of your world. This is Christmas Island. Resort staff are very helpful. You'll be off the boat and into your room in no time. Stay at the brand new state-of-the-art family accommodation where you'll find there's so much to do. like the daily viewing of the horizon.
You just don't see this anywhere else. It's just magical.
The island is small, so it's easy to get around, or you can take a tour.
Like most travellers here, I packed light because the best thing about Christmas Island is the shopping. I bought this for $3.
Located almost 2,600 kilometres north-northwest of Perth, this island is 1,000,000 miles from care. Boat services run from Indonesia and accommodation is limited, so get in quick, beds are filling fast.
Unwrap the gift of Christmas Island. It's so good, it may just be your last resort.
Victorian mum, Claire Davidson, hit the headlines recently when she was reported to the police for smacking her 9-year-old with a wooden spoon. Suddenly everyone weighed in. Kevin Rudd admitted he sometimes gave his kids a whack over the knuckles. Kamal said he smacked his kids, but he's sorry. So how did your parents punish you as a child?
Now I just need you to stand just in there, look back this way. All right.
I don't remember punishments much as a child, but I do remember the threat of the wooden spoon.
I think my mum was nearly sponsored by the wooden spoon companies, the amount she broke over mine and my brother's naughty backside.
Sometimes we got a beating with a strap or a slipper.
They'd take the leads for the TV, so I couldn't watch TV.
We were whacked. Yep.
The belt. Leather belt. That was my main type of punishment.
Mum always done the bashing.
And sometimes a stock whip, depending. So
if we played up, like that was it. She'd attack us.
It'd say, into the room. And you'd be absolutely petrified, but...
Yeah, it was a hiding. I mean, I probably deserved it too. I was a mongrel of a kid. I set fire to the house.
I didn't get hit or anything, but there was a naughty corner and sometimes I got locked in the bathroom.
Or the silent treatment, that's always harsh, because you're like, man, I've gone really low now, I don't even warrant a telling off.
The big speeches about not being able to trust me ever again and I'm not the person that they thought I was.
To get me so I couldn't run away, she took all my clothes off, put me in a bath and flogged me with an electric cord. That was probably the toughest one. I still don't know why that one happened, but, you know.
It was a very thick piece of dowel, so he used to like to unwind with that one. So basically I listened to what he was telling me.
You know when you start crying when you're a kid and you can't breathe properly and you start like convulsing? Is that sort of action?
Sort of made a man of me.
I'm all right now. I don't twitch much.
How does a kid know what's right or wrong if they can't fear something? So...
German Chancellor Angela Merkel has just given the folk from Google a bit of a black eye by opposing their plan to make virtually every book in the world available on the internet. So far, it's believed Google has scanned more than 10 million books from American and European libraries, all part of founders Sergey Brin and Larry Page's mission to make all the world's information available online. It's an amazing thought, that. All the world's information online. It's pretty exciting too. Unless perhaps that includes all of your information. Here's Nick Hayden.
Who are you? I'm the Google You. I'm Google Nick Hayden. When you signed up to Gmail, you signed your life away. No, I didn't. Sound familiar? You grant Google a worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free license to reproduce, adapt, modify, publish, and distribute such content on Google services for the purpose of displaying, distributing, and promoting Google services. It's small print, it means nothing. You think? Google collects and stores all the information that passes through its products, 1 million gigabytes every hour. I'm built from this information. From your Gmail and YouTube accounts and your Google search history, we know everything about you. In fact, Google co-founder Larry Page believes Google will eventually accumulate so much information it will ultimately understand everything in the world. Look, you might know plenty about me, but that doesn't mean you know where I am. Yes, it does. Using the My Location and Latitude tools on your iPhone, we can find you wherever you are. You're kidding. And every time you use voice recognition software, we store the commands. Once I have your voice, a Google Nick is born. Faster, smarter, better. So you're essentially me. No, you're essentially me, only you're not essential. I don't think so. I can go offline. No more Google. Go ahead. At Google, nothing is deleted. We have you already. We don't need you anymore. Expect to Google you at your home or place of work soon. For more information, why not Google Hungry Beast? We'd love to get to know you.
And now a message from Halloween Costumes Australia.
The following topical costumes have sold out: Balloon Boy and Virginia Trioli.
Well, that's it for Hungry Beast tonight. Thanks for letting us squat in your brain for the last 30 minutes. We'll be back again at the same time next week.
In the meantime, and as always, we'll be posting more stories on our website, abc.net.au/hungrybeast.
You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Google.
Got to go now. It's time to be outraged by Jon Safran.
I've already written my angry email. See you next week.
Ciao.
Next week on Hungry Beast, our exclusive interview with a fetus who is planning to be the youngest person to sail solo around the world.
Yeah, pretty confident. I've gone from semen and eggs to a fully developed human in just under 9 months. Sailing around the world should be a piece of piss.
And prominent Australian sportsmen and women lend their support.
Good luck, little fella. We are all behind you.
That exclusive next week on Hungry Beast.